and then he can say, this is a goldsmith for real. He a real goldsmith. Now, he not going to write this shit down nowhere, but he going to introduce you to the family. That's enough. We ain't write that shit down. We introduce you to the family. Now, Big Mama wrote it in the book. We call it the Book of Life, but Big Mama got it in the book. It's in her book. The Clay family were potters. They also related to the Potters. The Holmes family were drop the L. Tell me what y'all did. The Holmes family were Holmes family, which means they were realtors on the land. That means that each Big Mama in each area had somebody come from the Holmes family in order to show us the new home designs that's on the market, how we build our homes, the material. And Big Mama call in somebody in her family and say, this is the homes you're studying under so we can build these houses. So the Walker clan were nomads. That's why they called walkers, because they was walking everywhere they went. Now remember, I'm not going to have them all on top of my head right now. So the ones that I do, I'm just spitting them out. I'm trying to get to the end of the question so I could wrap this shit up. Black Panther is the totem animal for the priesthood on the land to recover the land from the enemy, period. And the worst motherfucker that they don't ever want to call is what they call the Gorilla Clan, the Congo Clan. And the Congo over here is called the Mississippi Basin. We Mississippians. You don't have to find all your family origins. You're gonna have a family reunion on the flip side of this shit, and you're gonna automatically know where to go. Yeah. So look, I gotta get off here. I gotta go in and talk to my little brother. So you're right. He said, I keep telling people they have banks still kept in their name connected to those credit lines. And the Social Security number is the bank account number, what they call an international bank number, minus the hyphens, and you can check, and you will blow your own self back when you find out how much you got in your personal account. Yeah, so I think I covered for the most part. So the theme of this is they ain't tricking us no more. Class has been in session. We done told these motherfuckers that we know who we is and where our shit at. Now, when I go back over the culture with Dane Calloway, whenever he reach out to me, I'm gonna tell him exactly where the record's at and what he's supposed to do is degree it. He don't need to be approved by nobody but us. All we got to do is say we agree. That's it. That's how we roll. So I'm gonna wrap it up from here, and I wish these comments would have saved in here because y'all got some good comments in here. Oh, he brought up the Wilmington Massacre. Anytime they tell you your family was wiped out in the massacre, it mean either two things. Either your family is the family that's the imposter stealing somebody's birthright, or they stealing your birthright. We know who we are. So this gives you that take you a long way. Right? So with that, I'm looking here, somebody got some questions in here. The Graysons, those who are from the Grayson line or gray line, come out of the cold weather. That's called being on the gray. They normally ran lighthouses. So I'm gonna wrap this one up. I'm gonna save it. I'm surprised I was able to get this much in, and I'm gonna make sure it's saved though, so y'all can come back to it. All right. So peace. Tell them all we ain't come on no ships. We not buying the bullshit, and we out of here. We taking our shit back. That's just simple as that. Yeah. All right, fam. So I hope I was of some service and some help to y'all. They gonna let Mother Khadijah know what's going on. They gonna give her back a report, and then she's gonna give her order. And the government that failed, the ones that's holding on to listen to her to give an order, because she can't say nothing until we organized. She can't get no orders till we organize, grassroots level.
Yeah.
The work you doing, bringing me on here to even talk about this, is our efforts to reach out to our people and tell them we got to return to our traditional oral traditions in order to throw their false, artificial, legal fiction, de facto corporation acting under the pretense of fraud off the land. Can't use their system to throw them off the land. That has nothing to do with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what has something to do with us is our system. So all of the OGs in California is organized. They wait. On the West Coast, they ready. They have moves being made to cripple the financial stability of the opposition on the land on the West Coast. Right? So this is what you seeing going on there. That's why the governor was saying it was lawless in California. That's what he's talking about. Everything is well organized and it flows smooth. That means that they are operating in a military capacity among the tribes. They are only attacking institutions that hold economic prominence on the land.
Fight Club.
Right? So they was robbing those rich billionaires that we don't even know over there. They was up in their cribs and shit. Because they hitting them in the pockets.
Yeah.
Right? So this the way the tribes from the West Coast say, motherfucker, if you on our land and we can't have none, y'all can't either. If we can't have peace at home, y'all can't have peace in our house.
Indeed.
Why would we let you come in our house, give us hell?
You live nice.
Peace.
Living nice.
Right? So they gave the appearance of legitimacy using the system of uniforms, labels, and titles. And that's what tricked us into thinking that the police was actually our friend. Them motherfuckers don't give two drops of shit about us. Anything you say to them is the wrong thing to say to them. Right?
Yep.
Because they only looking to find a reason to lock our ass
Lock you up. Yep.
They're not trying to solve a crime. They're not trying to bring justice to the community.
Wait for you to slip up.
They trying to find more food to feed their prison industrial complex.
That's it.
Now, the more arrests they make, the higher they move up in rank, the more raises they get. You see a parallel here? Right? So once they get to be detectives, now they get to go undercover in the community and start some real shit.
Yeah.
Right? But we see through all that shit now, all of their tactics, we documented that shit and shared it in the public domain. So we know
Yeah.
what they're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't no secret no more.
Yeah.
So now all we got to do is look at the tactic and we can trace it back to the source.
Yeah.
And you
Gotcha.
got the enemy exposing itself trying to be an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yep. Um, there's a question here, but I got one more question before I'm gonna do that. That question because you brought something to my mind. I know we ain't really talk about space, but I'm gonna do something that still affects of all of us, dealing with us coming into the sun cycle and solar flares. What type? Could you break down the importance of us being now in the sun cycle and the solar flares and how they affect us?
If you go back to I think it's the 18th dynasty, Tutankhamun, you see Akhenaten
Mm-hmm.
has a picture of the sun over his family, and at the
Mm-hmm.
end of each one of the rays of the sun, there's a hand.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So from the sun, we get information, data, input. The sun don't even have to be real for the purposes that it's being used for.
Mm-hmm.
It's emitting gamma rays, UV
Mm-hmm.
rays, UVBs, all these different spectrums of light is coming from the sun. That's the center of our solar system,
Mm-hmm.
right? As this energy comes to the earth, it gives us information on a DNA level,
Yeah.
right? So the way that I'd like to describe it is information of life comes in from the sun on angles of light.
Mm-hmm.
And these angles of light are angels of light delivering messages to the righteous.
Mm.
I meditate on the water because the water amplifies the message as I become the receiving vessel.
Mm.
I can get a clearer message and it's much more louder, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the streamers in the matrix is the same as the rays from the sun.
Mm.
But the same way we get rays from the sun, each star that's perceptual is also sending light rays to the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Those stars manifest in the form of human beings. We call them star seeds,
Mm.
right? The
Mm-hmm.
earthborn children of the sun are the originals, right? And they are the oldest tribes around the world,
Mm.
right? So we communicate with Mother Nature because when we ground to earth, it's the same as grounding the antenna on your radio in order to get a clear
Be a station.
reception
Mm-hmm.
on the box,
Indeed.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So back in the day when I was little, we had what we call rabbit ears for antennas on the TV,
I remember those.
right? But then sometimes we had to use the clothes hanger and tinfoil.
I remember those.
But this is because we're trying to get a good reception.
Indeed.
Now everybody got a different psychic ability. Because they told us that if we do anything of a psychic nature, we are insane.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us suppress our natural psychic ability.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way to reignite it is to start practicing as if you know how to use it,
Yeah.
right? So we use oracle implements like tarot cards, the runes, the I Ching, the crystal readers.
Mm-hmm.
All these is just
Pendulums. Mm-hmm.
all and pendulum. All those are training wheels.
Mm-hmm.
The one that you're drawn to tells you which psychic ability that you naturally want to enhance.
Okay.
That's why you're drawn to it.
Indeed. That makes perfect sense. Okay. I'm gonna let this question go because I know they put in here, and I got another one after you. But the question is, so what happens after people start cleaning out their filters?
When you clean your filter, your organism functions at a higher level. You can facilitate a stronger electromagnetic current, which generates a stronger electromagnetic field, which causes a denser aura, which allows you to be a much more firm and stable person overall.
Makes sense. Another question I have specifically dealing with conjuring, and metaphysics on our, okay, dealing with like hoodoo and as we know, Native American metaphysics, is that something that is all connected to, to Africa, to Kemet, Samaria, whatever the case may
Okay,
be?
those sciences, like, okay, so these are denominations:
Mm-hmm,
Hoodoo,
mm-hmm,
Hoodoo, Wicca,
mm-hmm,
Santeria,
mm-hmm,
Brujeria. Those are saying the same with the ancient culture is
mm-hmm,
saying denominations in the Christian church,
mm-hmm,
right? So they're all
mm-hmm,
part of the ancient arts.
mm-hmm.
Now, when we come up and we begin to become astute in one of them, let's say Hermeticism, we
Okay.
then become required to study all of the rest of them in order to get an overview of what mysticism is really about.
Now, now, is it? Do you think it's something as far as somebody like if you're native, to the land? Do you think is it still up to your choice, kind of to um how do you explain it? Like, do you think that you would gravitate more so to something more so native as far as if you are like metaphysically um
Look,
looking for
our natural swag is the
hmm
nature of
hmm
tribes.
mm,
Our natural swag, the way that we just are. Like
hmm
the people in New Orleans is a certain way. They love
yeah
a certain way.
hmm
They share family bond a certain way.
hmm
You try to take Mardi Gras from them, and they come from all walks of life. They gonna fuck you up,
oh yeah
and
hmm
it's not gonna be personal,
hmm
right? You gonna have a problem if you try to take Mardi Gras.
yeah
That's a cultural thing. That's part of the nature of the tribe on the land down there.
hmm
The tribes from down there, we didn't just have Mardi Gras in New Orleans. They
hmm
call it the Grand Carnivals in Brazil now,
yeah
right? It's the Mardi Gras.
hmm
It's a giant festival. You got different ones. You got one that's supposed to be like the Cinco de Mayo.
yeah hmm
That's the type of Mardi Gras festival to recognize the ones that crossed over as warriors. Then you have, let's say, um, all of those festivals that they have. You be seeing them in South America a lot. Those festivals is cultural festivals that if the enemy would have tried to take that from the people, they would have had no rest on the land. That's just as simple as that. So it
hmm
kept our cultures intact,
hmm
right?
hmm
Sea walking, crip walking, that's an
hmm
ancient conjure. Bee
mm,
walking is the flip side of the same conjure. Cricket
mm,
walking, right?
hmm
Then you have in Detroit, we got what we call Jit City.
hmm
In Chicago, we ballrooming, we stepping, right? So all of these local traditional dances is the tribal instinct to develop a cultural link through dance and music. We naturally do that.
yeah hmm mm. Whew. As always, you hitting, brother. Please support the brother. Uh, I finally got it right. It's Cash App, SIKAPE, capital SIK. Oh, sorry, capital SIK, capital APE. And thank you. I got to go back to this individual because they they were like, "You struggling there, Zosa? You gonna have to get it right." Who is it? This divinely guided reading. She she stepped in and got it right.
Oh yeah, they don't be playing.
Nah, I see. What I'm saying? That's tight. We appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Because we gotta support each other, man. That's just the bottom line, man. We gotta support each other. You know, real talk, brother. I'm so happy. You know what I'm saying, that you were able to come on. You know what I'm saying, and answer these questions, and even for me, just continues to build. You know, I'm learning every day, and you know, I appreciate you. You know, just building. You know, from a student to an elder. I know we all master we all master students. We're trying the best I be, but I appreciate you, coming on and giving this information, man. And I wanted to warm up, man, because you already know I got some more nastier questions I want to do, in the heavier questions, I should say, not nasty. Well, maybe both, I don't know. But heavier questions in the future. So I'm hoping that we can link up again. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Anything
for
else you
sure,
want to
for
give?
sure.
By me?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely. I
yeah, yeah.
appreciate you having me on here, getting the word out to the people.
That's it, man. That's hey, if we don't do it, who's gonna do it, right? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's the bottom line, man. If we ain't gonna do it, if nobody's gonna do it, we just sitting there looking crazy as hell the whole time, and we can't do that, man. You know what I'm saying? It's the sun cycle. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop remembering who we are. You know what I'm saying? These good brothers, like the good brother Rod Hayes here, he's assisting doing that, man. You know, so please, like I said, support this brother. You know what I'm saying? Please, again, follow. And what are all your pages? I know you said a lot of pages already full up, and
Yeah. So I'm on Rod Hayes on Facebook. My profile often changes, my picture, but the name stays the same. Rod Hayes.75 on Instagram,
mhm,
and Morpheus Mysticus Megas, which is pinned to the top of my Rod Hayes page.
mhm,
Right, so that's where I'm primarily at. You
mhm,
catch me sometime on Young Elder.
mhm.
Sometime I'll be doing the live with Dr. G on Reawaken Minds.
Okay.
Right, so this is just trying to get the word out to the people. So I appreciate you having me on here.
You doing it, brother. You know what I'm saying? You doing it, man, because I told you before when we first started talking, I told him, I said, I might have to call you Uncle Rod, man, because you remind me of my, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the type of vibe you get. I hear that all the time, man. You know what I'm saying? People can connect with you, man. You sincere, you're real, you got the knowledge, you ain't, playing no games, man. Uncle Rod, I like that. You
You
know
know,
what I'm
that's a common a common. I got a whole lot of nieces and nephews,
saying? Okay.
right? And then they got friends,
Uh,
right? And their friends call me Uncle Rod.
Uncle
So
Rod, yeah, I can see that.
shit.
I see.
I got nephews and nieces that's from fucking 52 to damn 2 years old.
There you go. Uncle Rod, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's I also, like the analogy of Big Mama. You know what I'm saying? It's just because when you paint that picture, and I think about it all the time, man, because I was even before I always saw like the you know, this, the source of everything, as we in our language we call Papa Ut, but the source of everything is just a big mom that just wants to take care of you, just sits back and just saying, so I brought you to this planet. You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? What are and she'll nurture you and she'll whoop your ass, you know what I'm saying, at the same time. But
Mhm.
and I love that analogy, man.
And she gonna tell you to sit your ass down right now. You ain't got no business out there in them streets. And I don't want to hear no talk back. And y'all, you gonna be saying you don't know why you doing it because in your mind you cussing her out. I ain't gonna listen and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But when she tell you, you just say yes, ma'am.
That's it.
Right? And you
Mm-hmm.
be like, what the fuck just happened? Big Mama spoke.
My mother.
That's it. Don't nothing else need to happen.
I
Because
know
if you
that.
piss Big Mama off, she gonna call Big Papa. He gonna put his foot in your ass.
That's it. You already
You know.
know.
And then if you think he too old to tussle with you, and you strong enough, he got one of them boys or two of them boys that's gonna put your new world in order.
That's it.
Ain't no
That's it.
disrespect at Big Mama house. Period. That's all it is to it.
That's it.
That's the law of the family,
That's it.
right?
The
So we
right
gotta all get back to Big Mama house.
Big Mama's house. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man. I love listening to your lives, man. Because I was I think you were breaking something down about Django, and even so dealing with the slaves, Native Americans, all that stuff. It all starts making so much more sense. And I put it right in the movie. Samuel L. Jackson sitting there writing all the checks when old boy, what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio, he out there masquerading like he's really the front, but Samuel L. got all the power behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? It's all making sense, man. I'm telling you, bro. Because like I told you before we went on here, I was watching when I was reading the first time I got that book, Let's Set the Record Straight by Dr. York, right? I was reading,
That's a
back,
headbanger there, boy.
man, that'll crack your neck in half, man. But see, I was younger when I first got it, obviously, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there reading it, and I got the information stored in me. You know, all that stuff he was talking about at the time, because I was, I was wearing the red fez, backing and everything. All that information, I got it all. But see, it's a lot different when you start connecting the dots to other aspects of American history. You know what I'm saying? It all starts becoming more alive and more real and more tangible, to this reality we're dealing with
Right.
in
So
America.
it helped you make sense of the struggles we've been through
Hmm.
and why we even went through them. We didn't
Yeah.
know it. We didn't know in the 60s and the 50s and 20s that we were at war,
Yeah. Exactly.
right? But our ancestors knew that ones that got slaughtered
Hmm.
in the 1700s, 1600s,
Hmm.
and even the early 1800s,
Hmm.
right? You can see the power struggle,
Hmm.
but they telling you that it's something other than what you're looking at,
Yeah.
right? They telling you that the Boston Tea Party was about excessive taxation.
Hmm.
Well, why we ain't having a Boston Tea Party?
Yeah.
We being excessively taxed,
Excessively tax. Yep.
right? So then the Boston Tea Party couldn't have been about taxes because we ain't having a Boston Tea Party right now.
Hmm.
So what was it about? There was the crash site.
Mm.
It was the incident that allowed them to declare that we crashed our land map into their ship,
Hmm.
right? So their ship was stuck on a sandbar,
Hmm.
and the ship got looted. So when they claim that's how they was able to come with the second constitution,
Yeah.
right? Because the second constitution comes in as a unified company of the Virginia Company and the Northwest Trading Company.
Hmm.
They merged to become the interim government of the United States, right? Remember, Muhammad Karzai became the president of the interim government. I think it was in Iraq or Afghanistan,
Hmm. Yeah. I remember that.
right? So America put him in power to run the government until the people elect a democratically elected government.
Hmm.
It's only one problem with that. In the interim government doesn't have what you call open elections. This is why we have an electoral college.
Hmm.
The open elections is just to give the people the illusion that they participating in the system.
Hmm.
All the time, they already know before any votes is cast who the electorate's going to vote for because they have to tell them,
I have to tell him. Yeah.
right? So that means they already know who's going to be the president before one ballot is cast
Hmm.
because they know who all of the electors are voting for. But they're giving us the illusion
Yeah.
that the popular vote secures the electoral vote.
Hmm.
But the electoral vote has to be in all over a month before the popular election.
Hmm.
It's a fraud.
It's a fraud. Yeah. It's fake. A state circus.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm happy you brought that up. This is a question. You right person. I know to answer this. All right. So you got Trump, right? Trump comes in office, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he starts dismantling all the stuff. We're getting out of the WHO. You know what I'm saying, we're doing we're getting all these different things. European Union. He's just coming in like, yo, we ain't doing none of this. What is the why? What was his mindset? Why did that go down?
It goes back to Ronald Reagan.
Hmm.
He was a campaign uh, manager on Ronald Reagan's campaign.
Hmm.
He knew Reagan personally and he loved the shit out of him,
Mm.
right? George Bush tried to have his son, John Hinckley, murder Reagan,
Mm.
right? So uh, when Trump discovered what was taking place, because in the political circles they know that John Hinckley is George Bush's illegitimate child,
Mm.
but the regular people don't know it.
Hmm.
And Donald Trump knew all of the people that knew Bush, so he was able to figure out on his own that Bush was behind the assassination of Ronald Reagan or the
Hmm.
assassination attempt,
Hmm.
right? So at that point, he decided that whatever he needed to do to stop the Illuminati, because George Herbert Walker Bush was the leader on this side of the ocean of the Illuminati in the Americas. This is why they was trying to come up with the NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement, and they was going to come up with the Amero currency, right, and bring us under one government. That was their goal under the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Right. So when Trump, he growing up in New York.
Yeah.
Mind you, in the early 90s, he was buying what you call properties called slum properties. Well, he had to have a meeting with the locals. Right?
Yeah.
And he was like, look, I'm just trying to make my money. I ain't trying to be no slum lord.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this is when we recruit Trump to do the work for us. It's only one fucking problem. He's too goddamn nice.
Yeah.
He got to learn how to play the bad guy. How we gonna teach this motherfucker how to play the bad guy? Enter Vincent Kennedy McMahon and the WWF.
Woo! Go ahead, bro.
So he learned to be a wrestling heel.
I remember that.
The wrestling heel is the one who plays the bad guy. Right? Once he completed his training with Vincent Kennedy McMahon, then he becomes an apprentice. Oh, you thought the people on the show was the apprentice?
Oh my God.
You thought the people he was firing was the one that was the apprentice? He was the apprentice the whole time, learning and honing his asshole skills.
Grooming.
Yep.
In front of all of us, grooming.
In front of your face, behind your back.
Grooming.
But all of the chiefs on the land know what's going on by watching moves. Right? Now, he's a good friend with JFK Jr. JFK Jr. was also a good friend with a rapper by the name of Tupac Amaru Shakur. And Quincy Jones is cute, but John Jr. is cute. Q is a Masonic letter flip. Right? Q is Q's juke joint. Blue Lodge knock. The juke joint is where you sing the blues.
Blues. Blue House.
Right? And this the Blue House in the Bayou. So this is telling me that it's coming directly